So I've watched Star Wars, Tales of the Underworld, and I would love to say that it was a disappointment, but that would imply I had any expectations going in. For Clone Wars, the first two seasons of The Bad Batch, Rebels, Ahsoka, and Tales of the Jedi are all great, but for the last few years, Dave has clearly been phoning it in now. There's already a conversation that's gone on for a few years now about Star Wars just being content, and I agree with that, but I don't really want to talk about that necessarily. The issue with Dave is that his shows now are just so predictable and they're all safe. For example, do you remember earlier when I said the first two seasons of the Bad Batch were great? Well, there's a reason for that. The third season, in my opinion, is absolutely terrible. I just don't understand how people can hate season 3 of Mandalorian and then have no issues with Bad Batch. It's the exact same show. Nothing happens the entire season. The bad guy just returns and, oh, he's dead now. He's lost. That's it. No twists, no turns, nothing. The good guy wins and that's it. It's very clear that Dave is trying to basically excuse why Palpatine returned in Rise of the Skywalker. And I understand that's not his problem. I understand that's not his fault, obviously, because he didn't write that piece of shit, and it is one of the worst movies, of all time. But come on, you keep getting cold feet here. You keep hinting at, oh, is Palpatine gonna get cloned, and then you do absolutely nothing with it. Rampart, the villain in The Bad Batch, is one of the most boring villains I've ever seen in my entire life, because we all know he's just going to lose. People just think he's cool because he just talks in a deep tone and, oh, he's just calm and calculated. Who cares? We all know you're going to lose. Nobody gives a shit, mate. Nobody cares. And at the end, General Tarkin is in the show, and he has the audacity to say, it's time to commence Operation Stardust. We know this. We know what happens. We've seen the films. We don't need films and TV shows about every single point in the entire fucking lore to just explain, oh yeah, guys, here's what General Tarkin did. We went to the bathroom once. We know this. It's a waste of time. It's a waste of everybody's time. And honestly, I don't care if this is like a contrarian opinion. The Bad Batch, they all should have just died. I'm sorry, they should have just been killed, all of them. You should have had at least one show where the bad guys win, okay? Look, Rebels is not perfect, it isn't, and it is a childish show. And I should just say, the issue isn't Dave just writes his shows for family or family audiences or, for kids. That's not the issue. Like, I'm not expecting Tales of the Underworld to have the exact same themes that Andor has for obvious reasons. I get that. I completely understand that. But, again, just do something different. Do something interesting. You can't just have the good guys win every single time because it's so boring and it's so uninteresting. I actually think the Empire was even more useless in The Bad Batch than they were in Rebels, quite frankly. As far as I'm considered, you should have just had the Bad Batch just die in that show. All of them just die. It would have been interesting. You would have had a villain win where, it actually makes things unpredictable where, oh my god, the Empire is actually efficient. They've actually done something here. And again, I absolutely despise Rise of the Skywalker, but you can't just reboot the films. I mean, that's a stupid idea. You can't just do that. You can't just make 3 films that were made for like millions of dollars and just say, oh yeah, that didn't happen. That's never going to happen in a million years. So you have to make your bed and fucking lay in it. So, just going back to my point though about how it feels like they have to make a film at every single point in the lore. It's like, nobody cares about seeing Cad Bane's backstory. Cad Bane doesn't need a backstory. Dave Filoni clearly loves his westerns, and I will say this, the finale of Underworld, the only reason it's somewhat interesting is because it's like a subversive take on High Noon, because that's where the influence came from, was High Noon, but this time a bad guy wins. But even then, why Cad Bane? You pose Cad Bane as like the evil man with no name, where you don't know what his backstory is, you don't know what his origins are. That's what makes him a mystery, and that's what makes him such an interesting character, because he's evil and you don't know why. You've ruined it. You spoiled the lore. You've ruined any mystique here. Like, nobody cares. And the fact that you have the audacity to bring back what's her name, Ventress, and say, oh, guys, she's alive now after Dark Disciple, and then you have her do nothing by just having her pair up with a young Jedi. Like, look, I've never read Dark Disciple. I don't really care per se, but why do this? It's a cash grab at this point. It's just nothing more than a blatant cash grab. And quite frankly, Star Wars is such a weird thing right now where the content is so inconsistent. And even if we go back to Ahsoka, because I think I'm in the minority of people that really enjoy that show, and I really enjoyed Rebels. Again, I think I'm in the minority of people of that. But why do you think I liked Ahsoka? Because I've seen Rebels. Honestly, anyone out there who doesn't like Ahsoka, I completely understand it, because you have to watch, 5 TV shows and 6 movies in order to understand it. You know, that's a problem. That is actually a problem. I'll watch season 2 of Ahsoka, and I hope it's good, but I completely understand that, you know, it's very niche, even for Star Wars fans. It is quite niche. Again, it appeals to me, but that's not the point. What makes the first 2 seasons of Mando great, and Andor great, is that yes, they're well-written shows. Yes, they're very good TV shows, but you don't need to have seen anything from Star Wars to have enjoyed them. You can literally watch Andor by itself, just as what's on TV today? A political thriller. It's Star Wars. Well, no, you don't need to watch anything from Star Wars, nothing. Just watch it, and it's a fantastic show. It's brilliant. Again, even with The Mandalorian, even with the massive cameo that happens in the end of season 2 of Mandalorian, it was still a very good show. Where I think things crumbled for Dave, and Jon Favreau for that matter, is the Book of Boba Fett. And keep in mind, with the Book of Boba Fett, I was very naively optimistic even years after that show came out, because there are things that are not explained in that show, like why does Boba Fett become a good guy? And I was just thinking to myself, well, they mention it, but they don't talk about it, so they're going to explain that in season 2. Nope, season 2 is not even happening now for some reason. Why? Because of negative feedback. Well, write a better show then. You know, you can't just hear something negative come towards your way and then just cancel it. It's pathetic. It's so annoying. And the issue with Book of Boba Fett is that, interestingly enough, they bring back Cad Bane in that show. And again, they don't have any introduction to him. It's just like, oh, he's here now. Oh, he's dead now, by the way. It's like the Book of Boba Fett they just cram all these things into 7 episodes, and it's not enough. And then people expected they expected people to actually like the show. Do you know what I mean? It's getting ridiculous now. You know, Dave is an apprentice of George Lucas, and George Lucas is a warped genius for lack of a better term. George Lucas can write some amazing things, he can write some terrible things, and that's the same as Dave, where Dave has written fantastic things in his time. Again, I haven't turned on him, but he's got issues like George Lucas has, and it's when the issues are bad, they are really bad. With Lucas, for example, it's dialogue, like love dialogue, and with Dave Filoni, it's fan service. It's too much of an emphasis on fan service. Again, it's not even... Again, Andor doesn't rely on fan service, and it's not even like, oh, Andor's just better than The Bad Batch. No, Andor is one of the greatest TV shows ever made, compared to just a show that's okay. I mean, I don't know. That's all I've got to say. This is a different kind of video where I kind of rambled on. I ramble on anyways, but that's not the point. So, yeah, to rip off Penguin 01. See ya, I guess.